remember approaching Jonas, just saying thank you, and I told him I was sorry. Then the perfect clear happened, and I just said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm done. I, I don't need to go any further than this."
No, I'm not saying that you claim a world record.
So,
I'm just asking
no.
if you played that game. Yes or no, legitimate. Before August of 2024, Mega Retroman was the person who last defeated Jonas in IRL Tetris competition, and that all changed in August of this year. Hi, my name is Frank, also known as SirMaser. Welcome to the Dependency Podcast. Like I said, August of 2024 is a weird month when Mega Retroman posted a screenshot of a 1.36 million DAS run, which was supposed to be a world record, but it was only a screenshot. He's here and tells the full story about it, and you also hear my opinion about it. We also talked about CTWC 2019, the NDWC, because he's a NDWC master, and much, much more. This is our conversation. Mega Retroman, welcome to the Dependency Podcast. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, first question is always the same question to everyone who's new on a podcast, and that is, how did you get into NES Tetris?
Well, I started with Game Boy Tetris and started that at a young age.
Yeah.
NES Tetris kind of was brought to me by a neighbor kid who their family would have like high score competitions, within family, and it got me curious.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Hey, do you guys count Game Boy scores?" And they're like, "Well, no, not really." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Can I try it?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And they popped in NES Tetris, and off I went. And I was terrible, but so was everybody else when they first start playing.
Yeah. And when was this?
Oh gosh.
Or did I make you feel very old?
Early, yeah, it made me feel a little old. I want to say early 90s.
Yeah. Like a couple of years after the release.
Yeah. Now I gotta think about this. Yeah. We'll go with 92, somewhere between 92 and 94.
Yeah. All right.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So, has NES Tetris stayed with you since you played it early 90s towards the early 2000s, or was it an on and off love with NES Tetris?
Honestly, no. I never stuck with it. I didn't really put a lot of time into it until the mid 20-teens when I found out about Classic Tetris World Championships at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, hey, that's cool," and didn't think anything else of it.
Did you visit the PRGE, or did you saw it on YouTube?
I went to Portland, and I've gone to every Portland Retro Gaming Expo show since 2013.
Yeah.
And that was the 2014 was the year Harry won.
Yes.
And I was there for that. I watched him win. I was way in the back of all the audience.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a camera showing the audience, you'd never be able to see me.
We might on a best of 5 have pretty good cameras, so you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can be seen on best of 5.
Yeah.
I was there, but at that time when I was qualifying, I didn't know what I was doing. I just figured, okay, maybe my normal way of playing Tetris starting at level 0 would get me somewhere.
Yeah.
And it clearly did not. So I kind of went in again, not knowing what I was doing.
So like 2013 was the first time that you saw Tetris live, like PRGE live,
Correct.
CTWC. So can you remember what do you think about it that you saw people playing NES Tetris, a game that you played early 90s?
I didn't really think anything of it because I wasn't that big into Tetris at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great concept, but other than that, I didn't really look into it
Yeah.
to see what exactly it was all about and what you needed to do.
Yeah.
So I was just, I just like, okay, hey, that's a cool thing, and walked elsewhere.
So what changed?
Well, I what year was it? 2015, I think it was. One of the vendors at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo had a 1990 Nintendo World Championships high score competition.
Yeah.
And I was participating in that. And so I just, was just playing, doing my thing on that, and, waiting in line. Just a gentleman came up behind me, kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey, I noticed and I was watching you play, and you're actually very good. Do you play Tetris often?" And I'm just like, "No." And he's like, "Have you considered participating in the Classic Tetris World Championships?" And I'm like, no way. No way. By the way, that gentleman was Vince Clemente.
Oh.
He and Robin Mahara were standing next to each other, chit-chatting, and they kind of were watching me, and they'd obviously never seen me before. I had no idea who they were.
No.
Well, I had heard of Robin's name, but I'd never actually seen him in person.
Yeah.
At that time. And when he introduced himself, I was just like, "Oh, I know your name." And then, like, shortly after, Thor Ackerland showed up, and we were actually playing in a segment together, and I'm just looking up at him. I'm like, "Dude, this is cool." I can't believe I'm playing the Nintendo World Championships with Thor Ackerland. So I wasn't paying attention
right
to...
then?
What's that?
Did you know that he won the NWC 9090?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. I knew that he was the winner. I'd seen articles in gaming magazines and, back then. And I was just, like I said, I was just starstruck.
Yeah.
And with him kind of being next to me, I realized that I was playing like garbage. And I just messed up anything I had, any rhythm I had. And I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm playing next to Thor Ackerland. This is awesome. This totally makes my trip.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's the Vince suggested that I come try Classic Tetris World Championships that year, and I told him no way.
No.
So so I went home after the event, and just kind of thought about it. I'm like, I wonder. So I started investing time in NES Tetris. So late 2015.
Yeah.
And just kind of started playing literally every day. And eventually tried again at the 2016 CTWC.
Yeah.
Where I missed the cutoff by one place.
Ooh.
Yeah, at that time they were taking in top 32.
Yeah.
I was at the 32nd seed up until like the last 2 minutes.
No.
Yeah, and somebody had just got a high enough score to bump me down. So and I was like, oh well, all right, it is what it is. And Packy, who's a good friend of mine, he and I were the next bottom two. I was 33, he was number 34.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to share the moment of disappointment that we didn't get in.
I think watching a tournament after you got bumped out at the last 2 minutes, you watch it differently than if you got like 33 with 2 hours to go and still no sign of improvement.
It's like if you're sitting at spot 33 and you're trying to get that high enough score to get up to 32, it's stressful.
Yeah.
And especially when you're still a beginner at the game. You still have, obviously still have lots to learn, and improvement isn't gonna come fast. So you just kind of have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And if you get that high enough score, awesome, you made it. If not, then okay, you have another year to practice.
Yeah. Was it fuel for CTWC 2017?
Yeah, that was my first time qualifying into CTWC.
Yeah.
I went against Bo Style.
Yeah.
And he obliterated me, as Bo would, because Bo is an amazing player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I topped out real quick on both games. I think first game, if I remember correctly, wasn't even past 100,000.
Yeah.
And then the second game, I think, was like a low 200,000.
Yeah.
That I topped out. But yeah, it was no contest. He was a much better player than I ever could have been at the time.
What was the vibe during CTWC 2016, CTWC 2017? Like right now, the current day of CTWC, the players are top-notch players. Like not saying that they weren't in 2016, 2017, but it was definitely a different era. Like last DAS full DAS final was 2017. But what was the vibe? Because this was still that niche game, because the Boom Tetris for Jeff meme didn't happen until 2018. So what was the vibe during those last 2 years before the first viral hits of Classic Tetris got there?
Well, again, at the time, I tried to get invested into the game and try and continuously get better. But I was still a beginner at the time, so the vibe was just it was chill. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't take it as seriously as I did years later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me to kind of place a vibe, I mean, it was just, again, it was chill. I didn't really know anybody.
Yeah.
There, I the few people that I knew, like Vince, like Robin, like Packy. I think there may have been one or two others, but I didn't really know anybody, and nobody really knew me.
Yeah.
So I I can't really say that, oh, this year was far better than the next year. You know, it was just kind of, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
I made it. Let's just kind of see what happens. And yeah, that's I didn't, you know, I wasn't really taking it as serious.
No. So when did it start becoming serious for you? Was it 2018? Was it later 2018?
I think I started putting a lot more time between 2017 and 2018. Um, yeah, like I said, I was playing nearly every day.
Yeah.
Some days longer than others. You know, I could be on for like an hour, or I could be on for 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just trying to improve and improve. God, I was sitting at like a 650 something high score for well over a year.
I feel
I
that.
think maybe even well over 2.
Yeah.
And then once I did, I was just like, oh my God, I'm actually getting better. This is great.
Yeah.
So I started playing more and more, just trying to, better my scores. And then I was starting to hit 700,000. I think that started happening when fridaywitch brought in CTM, back in the early days. Which is funny is we met at a game store Tetris competition that was local to us at the time.
Yeah.
And we were the only two there. We were the only two that showed up. And so she and I started talking while we were playing and during the off in between rounds. And she was like, I'm thinking about doing this online scene and trying to get, competitive Tetris online during the off season. What do you think? And I'm just like, hey, I mean, that sounds cool. And she'd asked me if I wanted to join in on that. And I was like, I mean, okay.
Yeah, sure.
I have the stuff to, to make it work.
Yeah.
And she when we were playing during our rounds, she was watching how I was playing, and I feel like she was absolutely disgusted with how I was playing. She's like, why are you dependent on this piece? Why are you dependent on that piece? And I'm just like, at that time, I didn't know the terminology.
Yeah.
So she's asking me these questions, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to play as clean as I can. It's like, no, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. And I'm just like, who is this broad? And she asked, do you know who Jonas Neubauer is? I'm like, I've heard of the name, but I don't know him personally. And she's like, he streams, right? No. You should start watching his streams. You need to learn from him. I'm like, okay. Like I knew he was the champ.
Yeah.
At the time, multiple time champ. And so I was like, okay, I'll bite. I'll check his stream out.
Yeah.
So I started going into his streams and just kind of sit there and watching him. Seeing what he does and what he's thinking when he does particular piece placements.
Yeah.
And just kind of studying. So, and that's I think when I started getting real serious into the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's best of learning from the best.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have the same playstyle. I mean, I can learn from rollers right now because they do stuff that I can't do. But learning from max out players, dash players, or 1.2 players, That's better for me than learning from the 60 million or the 29 million runs that both LXD and Doc play, because that is so far up into kill streak.
Yeah, it's the scores that these teens are hitting now are just it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm personally, I'm sad that Jonas isn't around to actually see this for himself.
Yeah.
I think he would be absolutely floored with what's been going on in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And just all these milestones that these kids are hitting.
Yeah,
I think he'd be ecstatic.
Oh, yeah. As one of the biggest ambassador of the game, yeah, absolutely. But it all started right a couple of months after he passed away. So it was like even late 2020, it wasn't news, or we didn't know about rolling. Like when he moved to Hawaii.
Yeah, it was starting to become a thing. That's when rolling was starting to be introduced. So you had a few players. I can't name them all. I know Cheese was one of them. Unfortunately, he's the only one I can think of who was starting to, really invest the time in trying to make rolling a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then once people saw what Cheese was doing, that I think was what catapulted it, and started getting everybody else in on on an upcoming trend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now look at it. it is taken over.
Yeah.
And these kids are doing crazy things, Dog Rebirth, Scooty crashing the game.
Yeah.
Alex doing, breaking all these, 15 million plus scores at the time. And it's crazy. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't mind trying to learn, but that's a whole different hell that I've got to start and putting into my brain that if like I have my controller here, so if I wanted to, I'm a right hand dominant, so if I wanted to do any kind of rolling, I'd have to do it with my right hand.
Yeah.
But I don't have a comfortable way of trying to hold my controller.
No.
And looking at my controller like I'm going to think left is right and right is left.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to confuse me.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want that.
No, I think
I don't need more confusion in my life.
Yeah, I think it's manageable, but it's like I thought about it, picking it up, and I'm like, no, I'll be Das for life.
Yeah, and on top of having to deal with the finger pains that I go through, and were really bad, a couple years back. I don't know. I don't see myself doing that for very long.
Yeah.
Even and as much as I hate to say it, even playing DAS hurts.
Yeah.
That's how bad my fingers have gotten.
Yeah. But it's still when hyper tapping dominated the scene, like 2019, 2020. Everyone said DAS is dead. Like, why would you pick up DAS? And now rolling, DAS is more alive than ever, because it's an whole different game right now with DAS, with the DAS only tournaments. And now you went to the Jonas Cup. We'll talk about that. CTWC DAS now 3rd year that's been playing in Germany. So it's a whole different ball game with playing DAS versus playing rolling.
Oh yeah, with rolling you can, with proper stacking, you can get away with so much murder with rolling.
Yeah.
Like you can get pieces, like what, 2, 3, we'll say clicks, down and have them all the way over to the left side. You can't do that with DAS.
No.
And I just think that puts the rollers at such a huge advantage. I mean, obviously, because they could stack higher and be in place safe safe as can be.
Yeah.
And just they can get away with so much stuff. Whereas DAS, you have to kind of know what your limits are and what the limits of how far a piece can go safely.
Yeah.
And, can I get this piece to the far left without it hanging? Can I get this piece to the far right without it hanging? It's just, and that comes with practice and knowing, if you know that the piece will make it over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's still fascinating to me, like the DAS play. It still fascinates me to this day. I played this game now on and up for 4 years, but it's still DAS. It satisfies me, and it still brings me joy to play, like the way to intend to play the game, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it with DAS compared to we'll say 2016 to DAS now, I feel like I'm still learning more things.
Yeah.
I'm still learning, from these teenagers that, I admit I don't really watch Tetris anymore.
Yeah.
But from seeing what they're doing in a live setting and what they're doing with pieces it's like I don't ever think about stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I've come up with new in my kind of gameplay, ways to like clear lines and clean up faster.
Yeah.
And I admit Tetris 99 has helped me with that. Yeah, I know it's a modern Tetris game, but you'd be amazed how much a modern Tetris could actually help with learning how to clean up your board in quicker ways.
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be possible, but here I am proving my own self wrong. And it's crazy that what they're thinking on how, where to put certain pieces. And, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I don't think I would have done that, but let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
And it works out for them, like as if they knew what the next 10 pieces were.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's amazing is what it is. And yeah, watching them do that, it's like, okay, maybe, I'll give that a try. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because that's the game of Tetris.
Yeah. Still RNG dependent.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still, when I come and say it, and I rarely do it these days, but when I do, it still amazes me how players are capable of solving basically any state of a stack with the pieces that they have been given. Well, I would have tapped out like 5 times already.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I don't know if you have seen, have dug into the way I play and how high up I play.
Yeah.
That has become, probably one of the stupidest things that I could do, first off.
It's very aggressive.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do that in practice as well because I want to be able to, challenge myself that I can play X high up,
yeah,
and still be able to do, do this, do that, and clear any misdrops or bad placements or whatever.
Yeah.
And still be able to get that well open and get my board down to a much safer state.
Yeah.
And, and again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get the pieces that you want and it all works out. And when it does, it's the greatest thing.
Yeah, but that is with aggressive play.
Yeah. I don't recommend it. But I think, and I know I mentioned this at the Jonas Cup, as far as my style of play, I'm that guy that presses down. I have been that guy for a long time.
Yeah.
Because of the 1990 NWC.
Yeah.
That is pretty much where I got my start of Tetris practice. And because you have to play that game so quick and you're pressing down for every piece that you have, it became a bad habit. It transferred over to my NES Tetris play, just for the game itself.
Yeah.
And on top of that, on earlier levels, I'm stacking so high that, to the casual player, to the beginner player, it would scare the hell out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm playing so high up that people are like, oh, he's going to top out, blah, blah, blah. And then they're seeing me get that line dragging all the way to the top of the screen and down the well.
Yeah.
And, because of that kind of aggressive play that I do on NWC, again, it transferred over to NES Tetris, thinking that, okay, that line piece is going to come. It's going to come. I don't know when, but it's going to show up. And, half the time it never does. So, and again, that's the other difference between NWC and NES Tetris, because the NWC piece orders are fixed.
Yeah.
So I have an idea when that line piece is going to show up, and I always will.
Yeah.
Whereas NES Tetris, I have no clue.
But with NWC,
I'm just kind of hoping for the best.
Yeah. But with NWC, you always stack the same way. Right?
I try to.
Yeah. So it's like rushing through Mario, rushing to, I think it's Ridge Racer? I think
close. Rad Racer.
Rad Racer. Rad Racer. And then hoping. I feel like rushing to those first two games, aiming for a lot of time during Tetris. And I think like the last that 10 seconds or 5-10 seconds that you gain, that's the difference between a 4 million score and a 5 million score.
You're right.
Yeah.
Time makes all the difference in that game.
Yeah.
Knowing what score you need to end on Mario, so you know that your first 30 pieces for Tetris are going to be the same ones that you know of.
Yeah.
And then after, I don't know if you knew this, but depending on the score of Mario, determines the first 30 pieces.
Yeah.
Of Tetris. And then 31 and beyond, it doesn't matter what your score is, all those pieces are going to be the same.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, once you kind of get a feel for everything, and once you've memorized a build, and with lots of trial and error,
yeah,
you'll come up with some different plays that you didn't think you would have to do, like a line. You're like, say, 3/4 of the way up on your board, and you have a line piece. What's the first thing you're going to think of? You want to put it down that well.
Yeah.
You want to, downstack your build. No, instead I'm putting it over to the left where, all I'm doing is building my stack higher.
Yeah. But on level 0, that's possible.
Yeah. With the lower levels, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Honest with God, I think level 8 to 9 is about when I stop putting lines over to the far left.
Yeah.
Because I'm using other pieces to build that left side. And then so just it's a whole different ball game, between NWC Tetris and NES Tetris. And I think that has been a kind of a hindrance to me being more consistent.
Yeah. But you're pushing. I get why you're pushing down on WC, because you want as much time playing on Tetris. Like, if you're not pushing down the last few minutes of the 6 minutes 21 seconds, that's over before you know it. But that translates towards NES Tetris. So you're pushing down on 18. Are you also pushing down on 19?
Funny you asked that. During the Jonas Cup, I heard Fractal saying that I was pushing down on 19.
Yeah.
And I was just like, am I? That seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to make any kind of difference other than put a couple extra, small points on my score.
Yeah.
But, and, I went back home and started on 19 and just kind of took a look.
Yeah.
And he was right. There were some times where I'm catching myself pressing down on 19 and I'm just like, man, I really need to stop that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
No, like I said, it's just a couple small points added to your score. But
and also the chance of losing DAS.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
There's there was a mention of like a fireball motion.
Yeah.
And I think I've caught myself doing that a couple times, but not very often.
Yeah.
A lot of my getting back to charging DAS has and I don't know why I do this. I've even asked Harry if he does this, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would you do that? And I'm just like, I don't know, but I catch myself doing it.
Yeah.
Like, if I know that I've lost DAS in like putting pieces in the middle, and I want to get a piece over to like say the right.
Yeah.
What I do is I go left, right real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm at a full charge going to the right side. And I'll do the same thing going to the left side, go right, left.
Yeah.
So that my dash charge is full and can get my piece over to the left.
Yeah.
I don't know how I figured that out. I don't know why I do it, but it's just become a habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
So going back to CTWC 2019, I think you do have fond memories of that, because you qualified for CTWC, you survived round 1, 2-0 victory, and then you got to play the 7-time world champion Jonas. You got put off towards a side stage, and it ended up 1-1. And basically everyone stopped playing their matches because Jonas was about to be eliminated or had to play a decided game during the second round of CTWC, and that doesn't make sense.
So round 0, I was on main stage.
Yeah.
Played against a new kid. We both topped out in post 19, and then the Jonas match was on main stage as well.
Yeah.
They were saying that, oh, for a high seed going against a low seed, normally they'd put those kind of matches on a side stage, but so I don't know. Somehow they just managed to throw us up on main stage, which was fine by me.
Yeah.
And yeah, first game I thought went decently until I topped out, and then I had quite a bit of a lead on him.
Yeah.
And so he had some catching up he had to do. So he was just taking his sweet time, just, doing singles, doubles, he would start building up for Tetrises and just be like, nah, let's keep it simple. And, he'd fake us out with like a triple or another double or a single, and he was doing that for a while. I mean, it worked out.
Yeah.
So that was game one. Game two, he ended up topping out pre-19, which is almost unheard of by him. And so I think that's what really caught people off guard was, he gave a game to me topping out before transition. So I mean, I would love to know what was going on in Jonas's head when he was playing me.
Yeah.
Because I know that was the first meeting we had ever had, and sadly the only one.
Yeah.
So I know he was somewhat used to playing against aggressive players, Harry Hong, for example.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say. You'd have to ask who would be a more aggressive player between Harry and I.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I feel like we're on an even playing field as far as aggression. But that's not me not really knowing. That's just me assuming.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people had said that, oh yeah, Mega's so aggressive in his play, that, it, frazzled Jonas a bit. I mean, I would like to know if that's what was really going on, or maybe he just, had a bad misdrop or what. I don't know. It's one of those things I've always wanted to kind of pick his brain about.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you were going through or what you were thinking during this match. And then the third game. My board was not in a good state.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but it wasn't anywhere near the cleanest.
Yeah.
So, I know if I recall, I had a misdrop early on, in mid 18.
Yeah.
And was trying to kind of recover from that. And then I started building all over the place, trying to keep, a well open somewhere towards the middle, and it just wasn't working out. So it just started getting higher and higher. I admit I was probably playing really stupid at the time. There were some, I've looked back on that match and look how, what I was doing, and I've caught myself asking myself, why the hell would you put that there?
Yeah.
What were you thinking putting that piece there? But yeah, so, and I admit I do that with a lot of my matches or a lot of my games that I look at,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, why did I do that? What possessed me to put that piece there?
Yeah.
Um,
We don't
but
know.
yeah, then yeah, because at the time he was like, okay, you just get the piece down, just kind of roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
And yeah. And then I heard that Jonas topped out again, and I had to catch up to his score because I was behind. And the entire time that I was playing, my left knee was, just my left leg was just shaking, just up and down, just, uncontrollably.
Yeah.
My heart is beating really fast because, like, oh my gosh, I can't screw this up.
Exactly.
I can possibly save this, but I just got to play smart. And here I am building a 7 high up Tetris, and people were just like,
What
I think everybody was looking at this. What is he doing?
Going out in style. Try hard.
And I was just like, okay, this is happening. There's no going back now.
Nope.
I gotta build up for this and hope a line shows up. Thank God a line showed up. Because if it didn't, Jonas easily would have had that match.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that particular Tetris that high up, I don't think I would have been able to recover and be able to catch up to his score.
I think whole Portland heard your scream when you got the score.
Oh my God. I can't begin to say all the emotions I was going through when I just yelled like I did. Just I just had so many things going on, just, and that was just the way to just get it out.
Yeah. It was so loud. It was so loud.
Oh, I just, yeah, it was, yeah, it was something. I remember approaching Jonas, just, saying thank you, and I told him I was sorry.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? Don't be. You had a good game. Just keep doing what you're doing and do your best on the next few rounds.
Yeah.
So, he's, anybody who knew Jonas they knew that he was a true class act.
Yeah. But it was a brutal round one during CTWC 2019. Like,
oh God, yeah.
A lot of higher seeds got like thrown out of the tournament. Harry got eliminated. Swabber got eliminated. Jonas got eliminated. Like,
I think Jeff Moore got eliminated too.
Yeah, like a true swift, like in the scene, in the community, like the old guard throwing out at the beginning of the tournament, and like the new guard is coming in. Bad Boy, Matt Martin, Corey, and Joseph,
who
will be dominating in the CT Classic Tours in 2019. Like,
I when talking about CTWC in whole, I feel like 2019 was the year that people just don't want to talk about because a lot of, like you said, because of a lot of the higher seed players were eliminated early on.
Yeah.
Minus Corion, minus Joseph, minus Dan Z, I think.
Yeah.
I think Dan Z.
Dan QZ.
Dan QZ, thank you. All those guys that qualified high, were mainly part of the newer guard.
Yeah.
Whereas, the folks that we had mentioned were eliminated early on, and people were just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why is Jonas eliminated? Why is Harry being eliminated? Why is Jeff and Svavar? Why are these guys being eliminated so early on?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even begin to say what was going on. Nobody knew. It's just, sure, maybe they just had a bad day. We all get them.
Yeah. I mean, it feel like if we talk about CTWC, like I feel like 2017 is one of the forgotten ones. 2019 is not really one of the forgotten ones, but like you said, no one wants to talk about qualifying line that is like 45 minutes to play a game.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That qualifying line was awful. Oh my God. Yeah, they like the event staff, we had the giant line.
Yeah.
That, at the time was just one curved line that was heading towards the doors into the vendor area and the arcade area.
Yeah.
Where the competition used to be in the vendor hall.
Yeah.
And then staff was just like, no, you guys can't be lining up, like this. And we're just like,
where do we need to go?
Make a proposition, what do you want us to do? How can we fix this? Because right now, with the way things are, there is no fixing this. So they finally, I think they finally got somebody to put kind of like tape down on the floor, so that way the line kind of starts snaking. But even then, with the amount of tape that they put down, the line was still kind of tailing back towards the vendor hall. That's how many people were trying to get into this, and get into qualifying that year. And, when I was in the line, I was hearing people saying, oh yeah, I want to do this, but I've never played the game before. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Okay.
Why are you here?
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun. Hope you do your best. Hope it works out for you. But yeah, there was. That's the other thing. There was a lot of just people that were just in there just to say that, oh, hey, I tried qualifying.
I mean, I did that with CTWC 2020 and 2021. Taking full advantage of being online and just knowing that I don't have the funds of going to Portland at the time. Just saying that I participated in the online era of CTWC, even though I got that last or near the bottom of the qualifying list. But that is the sole reason why I participated in the online era.
Yeah, that's fair. And I know I've had to do some of the same stuff. People were having live events. I can't afford to go to that live event, but they have the option of remote setting.
Yeah.
So that's what I opted for, and they're like, yeah, okay, cool.
That's fine.
We'll let you in. That's exactly what happened when I got into Summer Games Done Quick in 2022. I opted for a remote setting.
Yeah.
So because there's no way I could come up with the funds and the time off to be able to go to I don't even know where it was.
Was it in Minnesota?
Wasn't anywhere.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It was somewhere east.
Yeah.
I just know it was somewhere yonder and not anywhere close to me within driving distance. So.
I mean, being in Washington State, farther west, you can do no more.
Yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
used.
Yeah, a lot of these big events are in the East, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I want to go, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Flight, hotel for X amount of days. If you're there for like 3 nights, that's a good few $100s
Yeah,
just on
exactly.
hotel
Yeah.
expenses. So, and they're not getting any kind of discount, so you're just kind of stuck with the fees.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you really, really need to have the funds, or if you have a large enough community to do a fundraiser and have people kind of help donate to your way to an event,
Yeah.
whether it's for your flight or for your hotel, whatever, as long as as long as you're letting them know, yeah, your donations are going towards exactly this, then
Yeah.
yeah, it'll definitely help. But coming up with that kind of money on your own,
Yeah. It's tough.
that's hard and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still want to go to CTWC one day, but if they continue to host it early June, I just can't. Because my kid,
Yeah.
my oldest birthday is like when they hosted it this year on Sunday, like was it like June 9th. My daughter is her birthday is like June 10th, so I'm not leaving to fly to wherever CTWC is just to miss my daughter's birthday.
Oh yeah. No, don't do that.
No.
No.
So it was like
Not only would the daughter be upset,
the wife too.
You have oh yeah. Oh, you would never hear the end of it from the missus.
I know. Mrs. Mason would be like, no.
Like, what do you think you're doing?
Exactly.
I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Honey. I don't feel like not having a place to live when I come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm very happy with my home. Don't want to sleep under a bridge. No.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Well, we mentioned like very briefly CWC 2020, 2021. But you didn't participate in those era like of CTWC, and we talked about it a little bit, but you mentioned that you had like pain in your fingers or pain in your wrists, and the qualifying process was like it was a 2-hour straight qualifying. It was the first introduced in 2020, and you just couldn't play DAS for like 2 hours straight. So, what was the nature of the injury?
I never did get it looked at. I tried, but doctors just kind of brushed it off. So trying to explain this, like, from 2020 to 2022, I didn't participate in CTWC.
Yeah.
Because the pain in my fingers got so bad, like it was hard just to even clench a fist.
Yeah.
Like, just my fingers just got real stiff.
Yeah.
And trying to even bend as little as this was painful.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then as time progressed, it started covering my whole hand.
Yeah.
It got down to my wrists. Like there was I participated in a season of I think it was CTL. And I was going against Sharky. We had one game.
Yeah.
And after that game, I like couldn't feel my right hand.
Yeah.
Like if I had to describe what I was feeling, there felt like some numbness plus a weight.
Yeah.
That was strapped to my wrist and just keeping my wrist, down.
Yeah.
And I with my left hand, I'm trying to contact whoever was running it or streaming it at the time. Like, I don't think I can play anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why not? I'm like, I can't feel my hand. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
Because I've never had that happen before.
Mm-hmm.
And so all they said was just try your best.
Yeah.
Just keep playing because we need you to keep playing. And I'm like, I don't think you heard me.
Mm-hmm.
My hands hurt. I can't hold on to my controller. And they just kind of poo-pooed it and just said, "Oh, well, sorry, man. Just do your best." And so I think I dropped like every game after, just to get it over with, so I could figure out what was wrong with my fingers, with my wrist. So that I think you've noticed after some games, like at live settings, that after every game, I shake my hands and circle my wrists. That's why.
Yeah.
So and I just finally said, all right, I'm done. I can't. And if this is how they're gonna do things, then I'm not gonna participate anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I took those 3 years off, was so that my fingers, my hands, my wrists could heal a bit.
Yeah.
I know that they had me play I think his name he goes by Salted Sofa.
Yeah.
They had me play a match against him just so they can end the season proper.
Yeah.
And I sat there for like a good hour trying to tell them I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I argued back and forth, saying, look, I don't think you seem to understand the nature of how painful my hands and my wrists are feeling right now.
Yeah.
And they just said, well, just play anyway. And I think it was the wrong decision, but I ended up doing it anyway. And after we were done, I was so mad. I said, "Hey, Salted Sofa, thank you for the games. I'm sorry, but I just need to leave."
Yeah.
And I shut everything down. I turned off my system, threw my controller, and I just, that's it.
That was done.
Yeah. The fact that, somebody is coming up to them saying, look, I can't hold a controller. I can't feel my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
My wrists hurt like mad.
Yeah.
And for them to have the balls to say that, we still need you to play. Like, wow. Okay. You're a heartless one. Cool. Good to know. Because, I mean, if I was in their position and somebody came up to me saying that, like, say you came up to me saying, hey, look, I have a hand injury.
Yeah.
It may not be the same that I had, but say that you had say you had something happen to your fingers, like you sliced your fingers really good, like it was down to the bone.
Yeah.
Would you want to play Tetris?
Oh no.
After that?
No, absolutely not.
How would you feel if I said, "Oh, well, that sucks. I need you to play anyway"? How would you feel?
Yeah, I wouldn't play. If they said that, I wouldn't play. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to tell them was that, look, I cannot do this. Just let him through.
Yeah.
Let him through. I'll take the forfeit. And he swore up and down that, I don't want to do it that way. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I believe it was a mistake on my part to even humor the guy and play anyway. And to this day, I still regret it.
Yeah.
I don't care that I won that set, but I regret even taking the time to even do one game.
Yeah. King
So,
threw you
sorry.
King threw a farewell tour because you announced that you were leaving competitive Tetris like early 2022. Was that after that match against Sova? Was that the decision that you made? Like, okay, I'm done with competitive Tetris.
Yeah, I believe that was my last competitive match up until 2023.
Yeah.
I was intending on just being completely done because even today I don't like what Tetris does to my fingers.
Yeah.
I don't have it happen with any other games that I play.
Yeah.
Except Tetris. And
okay.
I'll never understand that.
It's odd because it seems odd to me because you're holding the controller like you would do with any other game,
Right.
Or is it the movement or the press that you put on the controller, like you press a little bit harder on with Tetris than you do with any other game, or?
I will probably say that I may put a little more pressure on the D-pads. God, especially the D-pads.
Yeah.
When playing Tetris, because you know me, I play a whole bunch of different games.
Yeah.
NES, SNES, darn near anything under the sun.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I speedrun Ninja Gaiden 3, and I don't feel like I'm applying all that much pressure to the D-pad when doing the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Tetris and I think I'm catching myself doing it on Dr. Mario too. Not as bad, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm applying a far more pressure to D-pad, and I know I shouldn't need to.
Yeah.
But so I feel that Tetris is one of those games where when you're trying to get a piece over, and say you tap the left button.
Yeah.
Say you tap it 4 times, and it only goes over 3.
Yep.
I feel like that's why I apply so much more pressure to the D-pad, so that I know that I'm not getting any missed inputs.
Yeah.
Because I know that has been a thing.
Yeah.
It's happened to so many different players, including myself. And, and I can sit there, jamming on one of the directions, trying to get a piece over. And I think I'm pressing this thing like 6, 7 times, but it's only going over like 3.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's why I apply so much pressure, and it's probably what is causing all the pains in my thumbs and fingers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because of that, I didn't want to deal with that pain anymore, so I said I didn't want to do CTWC anymore. when they came back to Portland in 2022, I was there at the event.
Yeah.
I stopped by and I said hello to everyone. I know a lot of people came up to me and said hi, and King came up to me and he's like, puts his arm around me and he goes, "So you're going to qualify, right?" And I'm like, no, of course not. He's like, come on, you sit down, go qualify. I'm like, I didn't bring my controller for a reason, right? And it's true. It was for that reason. I didn't bring any of my NES controllers that year.
They have spare ones.
I normally do. I normally have a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo controller on me.
Yeah.
And I brought my Super Nintendo controller, but not my NES.
Yeah.
For that exact reason. And so that I wouldn't be, pushed and pried like King was doing.
Yeah.
I love the guy, but I was like, nah, dude, I know what you're doing. I appreciate it. I love you for it, but no, not this year.
What made you decide to come back in 2023?
Well, they were having the Legends tournament.
Yeah.
And King messaged me saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get a thing going on, and I would love for you to be a part of it."
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the details out right away. I want to make sure that this, that I'm going to get the green light for this.
Yeah.
And when I do, I'll give you more information about it. And I was like,
okay.
Okay. Well, I'll hear you out.
Yeah.
And then, time went on and he obviously got the green light. And he told me, so I'm doing a Legends tournament.
Yeah.
We're going to have nothing but the older players, people that have participated in CTWC from 2018 and beyond. So I'm like, okay, that seems fun.
Yeah.
And it's is for kicks. It wasn't anything serious. So, and he's like, I would really love it if you would participate.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Okay, why not? That's for fun. So what? So, when I told him that I would, he was happy beyond words.
Yeah.
And so we, so Legends tournament happened, and it was fun. It was nice to sit around and play with some of your old friends and just kind of just sit around and joke while you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't, like I said, Legends tournament wasn't really anything serious, but if you had a good game, then, sweet, you had a good game. And if you didn't have a good game, well,
it's whatever.
Yeah, hey, it is what it is. So yeah, he invited me, and I said, okay.
Yeah.
It's for fun. Why not? And so, I participated.
I got to the finals.
Yeah, and I choked on said finals.
I mean, like you said, it was for fun, but I feel like it was for fun until the finals. Because I feel you told me before, and I think it was on one of the PDP posts I made. It's like I don't know what the question was, but it was like, okay, well, what's your highlight or your what do you want to change in your Tetris career, or whatever the question was? Where you're like, I want to participate in another Legends tournament and not choke on the finals, because I think that still stinks. I think that still stinks, like choking on that final.
It did. I won't lie. The fact that I managed to get to a finals in a CTWC event
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever been in a finals.
Yeah.
And I did that bad. Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
No.
I mean, sure, I could say that, oh yeah, I played one more match than Buko did, but but who cares?
Still a final.
So what? Yeah, it's exactly, it's still a finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of those things where I was doing okay at the start, and then my momentum built up for each match that I was doing.
Yeah.
And then it's like I just crashed at the finals.
Yeah.
It's like, sweet, this is my time to shine. And it just Wile E. Coyote down the canyon.
Oh my. Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels. You have so much momentum.
Yeah.
And it just, and down you go. And that's kind of how it felt.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because this is your first finals in a CTWC setting. You've been wanting to try and get this far for a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do it in any of the CTMs that I participated in.
Mm-hmm.
I made it to a few semifinals, but never got further than that.
Yeah.
And then now here I am.
Yeah.
It's like, this is it. And well, playing as bad as I did is just like, wow, that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty embarrassed about this. So it's just, I wish I could have changed, going off the question that you posted. I do kind of wish that I could redo that finals and, do better than what I did.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of people come up to me and say, dude, honestly, you and Jeff, that match was finals material right there. And watching the whole event, on, afterwards, they're right.
Yeah.
That was very finals caliber. And those are the kind of matches that I enjoy, whether I win or lose. And it was just, that was at that time probably the best match I had.
Yeah.
In any CTWC setting.
Yeah.
And I feel like that changed this year when we discussed Jonas Cup.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. But yeah, I feel like that match with Jeff was probably at the time my best match I had ever had, win or lose.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool where they said go ahead and mullen the God, what was it? That was the second game.
Yeah.
It was the second game, yeah. And yeah, I was on my way to maxing. It could have happened, maybe. But I didn't know. At the same time, I don't think it could have.
Yeah.
Because of a certain piece that I put in a incorrect spot. Wasn't a misdrop, but it was there could have been a better spot for it. We'll put it that way.
Snack Rabbit would have placed it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's just like, okay, well, if I max, great. If not, whatever.
Yeah.
Then the perfect clear happened, and I just said, yeah, you know what, I'm done. I don't need to go any further than this.
That's a better way to end the game.
Yeah, and perfect clears like that in such a high level are rare to come by, especially in a competition setting.
Yeah.
So I was, and even I think Terry said it himself that they were finishing a match with a perfect clear is far uncommon than seeing somebody just max out a score, which
True.
I agree.
True. Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm content with it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. It regardless if it was a max or not, it was a perfect clear and it looks great to everybody else.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So that's why I just said, yep, that's it. I'm done. I don't need to continue on.
How much time do you play Tetris nowadays, especially with the injury and with the hands? How much time can you devote towards Tetris?
Not as much as I used to, obviously. I could nowadays get in a few hours. It really depends. How my hands are feeling.
Yeah.
Because like some weeks will be better than others.
Yeah.
I may take a break for a while and then come back, and then then my hands may hurt after an hour, or I can take like a day or two and I could be on this game for 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
It just really depends on how the hands feel.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
But, again, with the injuries and all, I like to keep my fingers in working order. So that's why I don't play as much as I used to.
Yeah. We'll be back with the conversation in a minute. But first, join the Classic Tetris Monthly Discord server. The Discord server is the main hub in Classic Tetris, and you can qualify for the monthly tournaments ranging from Masters event to the community tiers. Go to our link tree to join the Discord. Subscribe to the Dependency Podcast YouTube channel. The first 32 episodes of PDP are available at full length, and new original content will be released in the next coming month. Follow Dependency Podcast on the socials. Hit the link tree to follow us. Do you have a suggestion who you want to see next on the show? Let me know on the socials, or join our PDP Discord at bit.ly/PDP Discord and tell me there. Now, let's go back to the conversation. 2024 was a really quiet year for you. First half of the year, you played in the Washington Regional, and more like we didn't hear about you or we didn't see you pretty much in the Tetris community. And that changed until mid-August when you posted a screenshot of a 1.36 million score in the CTWC channel, and with the dash playstyle that meant a new world record. And there was immediately backlash because it wasn't screen recorded, like you didn't have a record, and the previous record was a 1.34 by Tuki, so meant that you broke the world record with a Tetris Extra. But how did you react, or how did you find out that, like, okay, I broke the world record, and the reaction that you got from the community?
Okay, so I'll lead up into that. So the Washington Regional, obviously, I was going to be at the event anyway because I was actually a featured guest as a speedrunner.
Yeah.
So I was going to be showcasing some of the speed runs that I do, which didn't really work out the way I'd hoped it would, but whatever. And because that they were having the Washington Regional there for Tetris and Dr. Mario, I was like, I can put in some time on this. I just go and have fun. If I do well, great. If not, then okay, whatever. So yeah, and I thought I did fine.
Yeah.
Sure, some of the matches, some of my games could have been better, but I thought I did fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, leading up to August, um, I I rarely ever stream Tetris anymore
Yeah.
because um a lot of the community that I have, the people that come into my stream and watch me, don't really want to see me play Tetris.
Yeah.
So and all I'm doing is, let's be honest, people get aggravated with the game. I am 100% guilty of it. And so I pretty much stopped, I think there was maybe one time where somebody came in and said, "Oh, hey, you play Tetris?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they asked if they could see. And I'm like, "Okay, a new face, I'll humor them."
Yeah.
So I played a game. I ended up maxing that very first game. So, and they were happy, and that was it for that. I just played the one game, maxed the score, and shut it off. Um, but I've been playing, obviously off camera,
Yeah.
and I had been still continuing to max the score. 1.0s, 1.1s. I had a couple 1.2s, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the night I hit that 1.36, I did not know that was world record.
Yeah.
I had absolutely zero idea because I haven't been paying attention to, and I admit I haven't been paying attention to a lot of what's been happening with the community nowadays.
Yeah.
Other than what I hear online, like, Scooty crashing the game, like dog hitting Rebirth, stuff like that. You hear everybody's posting about it, and that's usually when I hear it.
Yeah.
And I'll hear some of that same stuff from you when you post that, "Hey, so and so did this." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's really where I get any kind of news today for NES Tetris.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I didn't think anything of it, as far as the score, because mainly because with rolling and how high these kids are hitting, I was like, okay, this, I only posted that screenshot just to be like, "Hey guys, I did a thing. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Check it out." You know, eh, there was no ill intent behind it. And suddenly, I posted that late at night and I went to bed. And then the next morning when I'm at work, I decided to check on everything. And that's when I saw there was just a long list of comments.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Well, where's the video? Where's the video?" I'm like, "I don't have a video."
No.
And a lot of people know that I just nowadays I just pick up the game and play. I don't
Yeah.
turn on a recording device. Half the time my computer's not even on.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit here, turn on the TV, the console, and I just pick up and play.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. And just um and I hit that 1.36. I was just like, "Wow, okay." So I took the screenshot.
Yeah.
And again, didn't think anything of it. Didn't know that it was going to be in this case, a DAS world record.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have any kind of video evidence to that, was when people started attacking me.
Yeah.
As far as they're saying, "Oh, well, this is fake." I'm like, why would I fake this?
Mm-hmm.
What would I gain to fake anything like this? I'm not a cheater.
Yeah.
I don't cheat when I play games. I mean, I've world records on other games, and it's clear as day that I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
Like I even said that, like, a month before, I was practicing for a marathon that I was participating in online. The PowerFest 94. I don't know if you're familiar with that,
No.
but okay. PowerFest 94 is originally what was supposed to be Nintendo World Championships 2.
Yeah.
So, I was going to showcase that for a marathon, and during my practice, I beat the world record score,
Yeah.
but I'm not claiming that I have it because I wasn't recording
Yeah.
or streaming it at the time. So I have absolutely zero way other than a screenshot to show that, hey, I did this.
Yeah.
So, and
But if you,
honestly, I should have known better
yeah.
than to post something like that. Again, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal until I started reading the comments
Yeah.
and saying, "Oh, this is actually a this," and I'm just like, "Wait."
It's like that's
Yeah.
1.3 is like the holy grail. Less than 20 people have it. And
Right.
your grind towards the 1.3 is very untypical, I should say. Like people grinded for months, basically like daily grinds, and then got very close step by step by step. But your last known PB
Sure.
was like a 1.25 or something like that.
Something like that.
And then with that jump of a 1.1K, it's like that's enormous, and especially when it's world records, and especially when there is no video. I get where there is doubts.
Oh, I agree with them. I agree that there should be skepticism.
Yeah.
I am all for that, and I even said that
Yeah.
hey, look, I understand why everybody would question this. I understand why people would be skeptical, because I too am a firm believer in no vid, no did.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I have no way of proving. And I even told them that, look, I don't have a way to prove this.
Yeah.
You know, the screenshot is all I have.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with nobody believing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just the thing is that unless you were sitting here holding my hand, watching me play this,
Yeah.
you know, this really is all I have.
Yeah.
And the thing that bugs me the most is people are saying that I am claiming that I have the world record, and I've never said anything of the sort.
Yeah.
And I even told them that, look, because there is no video, I am not claiming a single thing.
Yeah.
And I've always stuck by that. So that's now as for the backlash of it all, yeah, I was upset.
Yeah.
There was nothing else that I could say that, you know, will make this community think otherwise, because I don't have a video.
Yeah.
And like I said, I 100% understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just, when personal attacks started happening,
Yeah.
that's that's when I started getting really upset.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I left every Tetris related Discord server within that minute.
Yeah.
And I got offline for a while too. And I told some of my closest friends that, hey, I've been receiving a lot of backlash and a lot of what I feel is unnecessary. I don't want to say hatred, but it may have led up to that. I don't know.
I feel that too, but I also I ask around a little bit in the community, and I also ask some high level desk players that I know and that I trust. So that they are looking at what you did, like, and not the person that you are, but like what you did, and they all said to me that your playstyle does not support you being a 1.3 player, like 1.2 tops. So it's very unique to get a 1.3, 1.35, 1.36.
I get that. I without video evidence, I can't show anybody what went on.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the transition score I had, which was a 690, I think 695.
Yeah.
And my line count was like between 92 and 95. Because
Yeah.
I know that they had, I know that's what they had asked, and I had looked at that. Those were the big things that I remember seeing.
Yeah.
It was the transition, because going into 19, I felt like, okay, this seemed like an actually good transition score. And before I transitioned to 19, that's when I looked at the score and I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, I am on a good roll here.
Yeah.
And it just happened to continue that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the entire time of post 19 was all Tetrises.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you it wasn't. There were a couple burns.
Yeah.
But a majority of it was Tetrises.
Yeah.
But again, without video evidence, I can't prove it to anybody.
No.
So and I'm hurt by it, honestly. Yeah. I wish I could show everybody that yes, this is actually a thing. This actually did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm skeptical too. Like, and what made me skeptical was like a day later, you posted on your X account a clip of like getting a max early 23, I think, and then it got all the way to level 26, and you tweeted it with I ended up with a 1.25, but like it was the reaction that you had in that video that was like, I don't know if this is someone who is legitimate, you know what I mean? Like it felt too good to be true.
So I'll be honest, I do regret posting that too, because I was angry. I was angry at the comments, at the backlash, at the personal attacks that I was receiving. I posted that out of anger.
Yeah. But why not the full video of the game? Why only that part?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I know that for the particular cleanup,
Yeah.
was what I posted. And that's I feel that majority, or at the time, I felt like a lot of the DAS players that couldn't hit such a high score wouldn't have been able to get these particular spins the way I did.
Yeah.
And it was, and the cleanup was nice. And I don't know. Like I said, I posted that out of sheer anger,
Yeah.
and I took that down because I know I posted that out of anger,
Yeah.
and that was not right of me. And I yeah, I that was a mistake on my part,
Yeah.
and I wish I could take it, I wish I had never posted it at all.
Yeah. Because that also
Um
started the belief that you use save stats. Maybe for that run, maybe for the 1.36 run. Like you push
yeah,
down on
which they
19
did.
and using a save stat or loading a save stat is also the down button. So it's like everything
Not for me.
yeah, but in normal, like for the majority of the players, that's like the down button. So everything that happened in those 48 hours, it felt like, okay, this is someone who tries way too hard to prove that he didn't cheat.
Fair. Um yeah, it it wasn't meant to come off that way. Like I said, I posted that out of sheer anger.
Yeah,
I don't have save states set on Tetris at all. On
yeah,
NWC, yes, because it was a way for me to practice a fixed build.
yeah,
But for NES Tetris, I don't have save states at all
yeah,
set for that game. And because why? What's the point? No, the pieces aren't going to be the same. They're all
hmm
going to be random as random can be, and everybody knows. But
yeah,
um, like I said, I understand and say that, yeah, well, maybe save states were involved. No, they weren't. Um, but once again, because it leads back to video evidence,
yeah.
I can't prove it,
No,
but
and neither can.
sorry, this is I apologize. This is
Yeah,
kind of a tough topic, but and we knew that it was going to be. Um, it just, yeah, I don't have a way of showing everybody that, what I did was legit.
yeah,
And I, again, understand how people have questions. I really do understand it. Um, because I was in that situation with a different game.
yeah,
Not for me being the suspect, but me questioning, so how did this person get this?
yeah,
And have to think of all the things that could lead up for this person to have this kind of result.
yeah,
So, yeah, it just, like I said, it all, anything that I say, it's just gonna circle right back down to I can't prove anything because there's no video evidence, and I know that has um put a negative light on me,
yeah,
and it wasn't meant. It wasn't meant for that. I didn't. Like I said, it was just the, hey, I did something kind of cool. I'd love for you guys to see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean,
negative comments and attacks and everything that was directed towards me, and so I again started doing stuff out of anger.
yeah.
And then I just, and once I sat at work and really was really thinking about things, it's just I did everything wrong. I should not have posted that clip out of anger. Um, Without the video evidence to that 1.36, I should have never posted the screenshot. Because if I were to have, I would have said, "Hey, video incoming,"
Yeah.
which is normally what I do. Especially like, God, I've been known to do. Excuse me, I've been known to do that with the NWC.
Yeah.
I like, hey, I actually have. I can get a 5 million video incoming,
Yeah.
and I post the video right then and there.
Yeah.
So the fact that I wasn't able to do that was very uncharacteristic of me, and yeah, I just, yeah, it should have never been posted to begin with, because
Yeah.
otherwise all this stuff would have never happened.
I mean,
And
that's
it was
true.
again, what's that?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And you know,
I feel
yeah,
like
I just
what there were some non-believers from the get-go, and I don't condemn personal attacks, and I'm not doing that. So like I'm trying to keep an open mind and focus on the game. But it's like, for me, I honestly do not believe it, like that it's a real score. And for me, what seals the deal was the reaction, like I said, those 48 hours after the initial post, from my talkings towards the community members that I had, that those are high level players. I'm like a 650k player. I don't know anything about high level there, so I had to inform myself. And with that knowledge and with the gameplay I saw and all that, I honestly don't think that it's real. I can't prove it. Neither can you prove it that it's real. So I'll leave that in the middle. I do not.
That's fair, and
Yeah.
I respect that. I really do.
Yeah.
I can't make anybody believe it.
Yeah.
Obviously. But I just, again, I want to be able to have been able to get a recording of it and prove it to everyone that, hey, this was legit.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it's gonna bother me and it still does.
Yeah.
It's gonna bother me for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Again, I don't expect people to believe it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, they weren't sitting here. Nobody was sitting here next to me.
No, that's right.
Holding my hand.
Yeah.
So, and that, I mean, I can't say much more about it.
Yeah.
Other than I'm sorry. I wish I had the video evidence.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But you 100% say that you legitimately played that 1.36 billion game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not. And like I said, because there's no video, I'm not claiming that I have a world record on it.
No, I'm not saying that you claim a world record.
So,
I'm just asking if you played that game. Yes or no, legitimately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I told you from the get-go, I have no reason to lie.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to start now. So.
Yeah. How do you feel that controversy impacted your view on the community, but also on the love that you have for NES Tetris?
It was I was very heartbroken with everything after.
Yeah.
I didn't want I didn't even want to go to the Jonas Cup.
Yeah.
I wanted nothing to do with it. There were some people in the community that reached out and said, please go.
Yeah.
Please come, please participate. And all I told them was, at the time, we will see. I'm not putting any guarantees on it.
Yeah.
And so they messaged me, later on as the time was getting closer, and they said, "Hey, if you want to sign up for Jonas Cup, you should probably do it now."
Yeah.
And and I had asked a bunch of friends of mine and some of the community members that had reached out to me. I asked them, should I, knowing exactly what had happened,
Yeah.
should I even put my name in the hat?
Yeah.
And they said, yes, absolutely. You're there to pay tribute to Jonas,
Yeah.
who was your last person that you played in a live setting,
Yeah.
or before his death. And it was just like, you know what, you're right. You're right. Because I miss Jonas as much as everybody else does. And I want to be able to just go there, have fun, play for him. And therefore I think I put my name in on the very last day
Yeah.
that I could. Because I was really hesitant,
Mm-hmm.
and and a friend of mine just said, you're letting this get to you too much. Knock it off.
Yeah.
Just go there, do your thing, and have fun.
Yeah.
And he was right. So that's when I put in my name. And I don't regret it.
No.
I don't regret it. It was nice to see a lot of the people there.
Yeah.
It was nice to go up to, shake their hand, give them a hug. Great to see you again. But at the same time, it definitely felt off.
Yeah.
And we obviously knew why.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I wanted to go in and just, it's like, okay, I'm playing for Jonas. I just want to do my best and do the best that I can. And just, each thing that I was doing.
Yeah.
I did not meet that goal. And it was and just as time went on, it started to frustrate me a lot.
Yeah.
And when I'm frustrated, I don't play well. Therefore, I know there was a lot of I had seen in chat that there was some, oh hey, he didn't max out in qualifier. Huh. And it was just like, because I had set myself a goal to max it out at least a couple of times in that time frame, because leading up to the event, I was practicing and I was maxing the score quite a bit.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was play like if I was playing somebody else, not for the top score, but just play like as if I was going against somebody and try to max the score.
Yeah.
And I did. So and when I wasn't maxing the score in qualifiers, I was just getting more frustrated to the point where I wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
And so I ended with what I did, which was like a high 800, I think. And I was not happy. I was actually pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
And I just like, okay, well, I just gotta play and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Played against Jacobo, who was also at the Washington Regional. I didn't get to play him then. Good guy. Ended up winning that set, and then my next match was against NGC Man.
Yeah.
And I did.
That's time one of the best death plays ever.
I did end up losing, which I was actually perfectly okay with.
Yeah.
Because thinking about that match, that was after I had lost.
Yeah.
I'd realized that was actually the best match that I'd ever had, aside from Jeff in the Legends tournament.
Yeah.
I thought I had played pretty well in the competitive setting.
Yeah.
So when people have asked me, did you win or lose? And I'm like, oh, I lost. How did you play? Did you play decently at least? I tell them yes.
Yeah.
Every game went post 19. That's all I could ask for in a competitive setting is I at least transition.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to just, give a respectable competitive score.
Yeah.
And I feel that I did.
Yeah.
I thought everything could have been better, but for what it was, like our first game was neither of us had a good game going into transition. We were both in the 400s.
Yeah.
It was a rough seed, and I think he could probably say the same. The second game was a better showing, and same with the third and fourth game.
Yeah.
And I have nothing bad to say about it. He had a phenomenal game. He was obviously the better player, and if I had not made the mistakes, I think we could have gone 5 games. I think we could have been close each game had I not made the mistakes that I did.
Yeah.
And the poor decisions that I made.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't see anything wrong with that set.
Yeah.
And something NGC told me after our set. I turned after I topped out, and he I don't remember if he was ahead or not. But I turned to him, shook his hand, gave him a smile, said, "Hey, congratulations. Best of luck on your next upcoming rounds."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, hey, good games to you too. I just want to let you know what I saw today was night and day compared to what I've seen you do."
Yeah.
This was good on you.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, we shook hands again, and he said, "Good job, congratulations." And I said, "Thank you. I really do appreciate hearing that from you."
Yeah.
So I walked away happy with a loss.
Yeah.
So, and I went back the next day and, you know, watched the rest of what I could
Yeah.
of the matches, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was wonderful seeing everybody. Yeah. And I would do it again,
Yeah.
honestly. It was, I had a much better time than I was expecting would happen.
Yeah. Because of all the doubts that there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But do you think there was anything you could do to help that be a little bit less?
win the thing. Win the Jonas Cup.
Yeah.
I
But also, I mean, like leading up to the event, like streaming more Tetris, streaming your practice qualifying runs, and that.
oh, I see. I don't know, honestly. I everybody that I told that was in the community, I just said, look, I just wanna just lay low
Yeah.
until Jonas Cup. 'Cause I don't want, what I didn't want was people, like, say if I was to stream Tetris, I didn't want people coming in and start bad mouthing.
Yeah.
I don't need that, you know. Unrelated to the game. Personally, I was already going through enough stuff, personally,
Yeah.
with a lot of things, and I don't want to mention it here because that's irrelevant. But at the same time, that's because of all the stuff that I was going through outside of Tetris, and with everything that had happened. I didn't want to have any more negativity
Yeah.
than there already was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just lay low, practice on my own without anybody, saying this or saying that. I practice on my own and keep a calm mind.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I don't think so. I think it just would have been better to just put up a showing
Yeah.
at Jonas Cup. That was probably the best that I could do, and with people following me just to ask me, "Are you going to Jonas Cup? Are you going to be participating?" At that time, I was telling them I would be at Portland,
Yeah.
but I never said that I was going to be participating
Yeah. I mean, PRGE
because
is still happening.
yeah, I go for PRGE.
Yeah.
I don't miss the event, whether a CTWC event is happening there or not.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's what I wanted to do, and I just wanted to, like I said, make the showing at Jonas Cup, and try and just do my best and play smart and just put up a good showing. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted out of the Jonas Cup, and I think I did that. Like I said, I think my match against NGC Man was probably the best match I have ever had in a competitive setting. And honestly, if he listens to this, dude, thank you. thank you for being the person that I've had the best match with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for now, I'm just gonna continue to just lay low. I'll come in and say hi to people, like Burb, like King, like Bidwell, sometimes Sharky even. Just a couple of people.
Yeah.
I'll come in and say hey, and how are you doing? I hope you're doing well, and watch them for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, and just, and as far as me playing Tetris on stream, I probably won't. It'll be a rare occasion.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was going to be my last topic before I wanted to let you go, and that was the Jonas Cup the last competitive tournament for Mega Retroman, or was it the last time you played Tetris in public, so to speak?
I don't think so. If they have a Washington regional again next year, chances are I'll be at that event.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely play, have fun with the local guys and gals. And if they have Jonas Cup again, which I don't know if what I'm hearing is true, if they actually will be doing another one next year.
Believe so.
But I thought I heard somebody say that, oh yeah, there'll definitely be one next year.
Yeah.
But if there is, yeah, I'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather, I'd like to go and play Tetris with everybody.
Yeah.
Because, everybody there is good people. Everybody there, I 100% believe, are good people.
Yeah.
And I will always see them that way, despite the things that have happened.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there saying, give, a bunch of stink faces to everybody,
Yeah.
just like, oh, this person. No, that's childish.
Yeah.
And no, I want to go there. I want to have fun. I want to talk to people, talk to people that I've been playing this game with, and just, and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And I will continue to do that until I say that, okay, I think I'm gonna leave it here.
Yeah. And obviously you want to play Tetris offline, but has your sentiment changed now? Are you gonna record the Tetris sessions?
I haven't thought that much into it, because I'm not gonna. I just wanna play.
Yeah.
I just want to play, like all these other games that I'm playing. Like I said, I speed run various other games.
Yeah.
And lately I haven't been recording.
Yeah.
Because I've just been practicing. And it's less stress. And I think it's better that way, in a less stressful, I don't want to say environment, but at the same time I do. So I just, right now I just want to pick up the games and just play and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And not have not have, like I'll stream other games. Like I just streamed Visions of Mana. That's a new game that came out.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved that game. It was so great. God, there was something else I played. Beyond Shadowgate. I was having all sorts of fun playing that.
Yeah.
I think what it was is nobody's having expectations.
Yeah.
Which makes things more enjoyable for me. Because now that with everything that has happened, everybody's expecting me to be. It feels like everybody's expecting me to be perfect now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's true, but that's the feeling that I get.
No, I think that's right.
And okay, and I don't like that. That's especially with Tetris. Name one person that's perfect on Tetris. Name one. You wouldn't be able to.
No.
So I've seen some of the I've seen Sharky have bad games. I've seen I saw NGC Man before Jonas Cup. Even he had some bad games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
although,
and it's just
the thing,
I
thing
feel
is,
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
the thing is, like, they do have bad games, and everyone has bad games, but what makes people less doubt them is that they've recorded their best game, and you have not. So that's like that's where the doubt is coming, and that's where you'll always have the expectations, like you have to perform.
Yeah, and I get that. Believe me, I do. I mean, right now it's all I can say is it's up in the air.
Yeah.
I will definitely continue to play offline, but there may be some times that I will play online.
Yeah.
It depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But I I don't know. I feel like I want to perform. I want to, I know that I can.
Yeah.
I have the confidence that I can.
Yeah.
It's the matter of getting that end result.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do do believe I have the confidence to maybe get another 1.3. It may not be a 1.36, but it could be another 1.3. I feel confident that I could sometime do it again. If it's a high 1.2, okay, fine. That's still a respectable score. A high, a mid 1.2 is still respectable. And it's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah. But it ain't easy.
I can't. It's not. It's and that's the one thing I don't want to have people have that expectation of me. That is that if I'm say streaming Tetris, say tomorrow,
Yeah,
that people are going to come in and say, oh, I want to see a 1.3. I want to see a 1.2. I will try.
Yeah, but I think that is the sentiment that's coming whenever you're anywhere playing Tetris.
Oh yeah, and I get that.
Yeah,
but I at the same time, I'd like for people to be realistic. but I know that's a lot, considering the topic coming from me, with people saying that I faked the score. But like I said, I want to prove them wrong. But I want to do it on my time.
Yeah.
When I'm comfortable, and that day may come.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have confidence. I believe I can do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe not as high, but close to it.
Yeah.
So,
time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega
Retroman, I thank you for this open conversation that we had. I thank you for that you wanted to be on Dependency Podcast. Like I said, I sent you a message like a couple of weeks ago. If you wanted to be on, you said you wanted to be on. Respect you for that. We might not agree on the 1.36 run. Heads up that you wanted to appear here.
And I appreciate you having me on here. I really do. I know there have been some scheduling conflicts. Thank you for being flexible. Much all respect to you as well for having a civil conversation about this. And I knew that I would get that from you, and I'm glad that everything was said. So, and I thank you for that as well. I know that we're going to be in a disagreement for this until something else happens, and it is what it is. But again, as I said, you are good people, and I'm gonna treat you as such.
And with that all being said, this is the end of the Dependency Podcast. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on the socials, and I'll see you all in November. Bye!